Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carrot Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2008 heist thriller titled 21. Yes, that's right, folks. This is a movie that does not have a word title, but a numerical title, 21. And of course, if you think about 21, you must think about the famous casino card game known to many as blackjack. Rules are simple. All you have to do is pick as many cards as you want, but it has to be less than 21 in order for you to walk away with a big stack of money. But of course, this movie is also about not necessarily cheating, but somehow miraculously beating the system, which could probably be a fancy word for saying, like, yeah, we cheated, but we just know how to. We're just good at bluffing. Anyhow, the movie 21 was directed by Robert Lukatic. It is produced by Kevin Spacey, Dana Brunetti, and Michael DeLuca. The script was written by Peter Steinfeld and Alan Loeb. The score was done by David Sardi, the cinematography by Russell Carpenter, and it was edited by Elliot Graham. And the stars of the movie are Jim Sturgess, Kevin Spacey, Kate Bosworth, Laurence Fishburne, Aaron Yu, Liza Lapira, Jacob Pitts, Jack McGee, Josh Gad, Sam Golzari, Helen Carey, Jack Gilpin, Spencer Garrett, Jeff Ma, in which this movie was actually supposed to be based on, with Jim Sturgess actually playing Jeff Ma's character that this movie was actually based on. Also, we have Chris Williams and Kevin Chinh. Now, you want to know something? This movie, of course, was actually accused of whitewashing, which I probably will get to a little bit in a bit. It could be, whether you think that there's no harm done, or whether the movie is problematic. I will probably delve into it as we go along. As a fan of movies based off of high-stakes gambling and a manipulative way of how to get Hollywood glamorized has been done to death, they have practically glamorized Las Vegas to a T. But there is a part of me that sometimes gives me the impression that it is all just a cliche. Underneath all the glitz, the glamour, the neon signs, the casinos, the hotels, the limo rides, the sights, the sounds, the smells, gambling, prostitution is legal. In fact, it is invited. You might probably think it's like the happiest place on earth. It's like the proverbial roller coaster amusement park for adults. And everybody who goes to Vegas are happy. But I've also come to the realization that Sin City is not as glittery as they make you all believe. Sure, it may be biased in my point of view because I'm not a gambler, but I was never turned on by the seductive nature this city unapologetically exposes to us, making it feel as if it's a giant amusement park for adults. No matter how much profit you make, the results are always the same. The house emerges victorious. Aside from the casinos, many hotels surround them, and guess where they get their revenue from? Need I say more? Yes, Sin City is the toast of the town. But does it buy you happiness? Of course not. I think most people who go to Vegas are very desperate individuals. They just want to find a quick haven to get rich quick or go home broke, if you can even make it home. Of course, you got to make money to spend money, so these casinos are not necessarily exactly cheap. And very few people really ever do come out winners. Only a small selected few do. Most people who leave Vegas have empty holes in their wallets. So, inspired by real events, based off of a novel by Ben Misrich called 21, which is loosely kind of like a biopic based off of the character Jeff Ma, in which this movie is based on. By the way, he also has a cameo appearance in this. This movie centers around 6 MIT students who esoterically use their cunning wit that no textbook was offered to them to come up with their own codes and rhythms to win it big on the Vegas Strip. As usual, Hollywood successfully sexes up the sceneries, combined with Kevin Spacey taking charge as Professor Mickey Rosa, and the students are donned in their trendy night outfits. And although they are super smart, the students are persuaded by Mickey that they deny they are cheating, but rather outsmarting the system by way of card counting. So they think that maybe they're not technically cheating, they just seem to know how to manipulate the system by way of card counting. They're just professional card counters who know how to rig the system. So they're denying that they're cheating, but it's still, to me, like cheating. No matter how many times they try to beat the surveillance cameras or going incognito and going by different names and identities, hey, if they got the gift of the gab, who's stopping them? Sure, it's a hint of complex mathematics, and some methodology is used to avoid being caught, even by means of going incognito with fake names and different gestures, words, and body language. They think it's beating the system, but the casual viewers will believe it as cheating. It almost reminds me a little bit of, when Dustin Hoffman's character was inadvertently cheating for Tom Cruise to make money in Vegas because he's got a natural gift for counting cards. I mean, he was pretty much used as an oblivious guinea pig. But here, we don't have any oblivious guinea pigs. These guys seem to be professionals who know what they're doing and just know how to get by. The thing that gets me annoyed here is that the filmmakers try to dumb us down by providing us every detail, stating the obvious, and through every casino codes change, and that no trick is ever repeated twice. We know that. You don't have to dumb us down. It makes it that way so that the subplot featured here leaves a bad impression that their manipulative influences are outshined and downplayed by technology. The threat of head security officials like Cole Williams, played by Laurence Fishburne, is an unimportant job. So after the success of the 2006 film Across the Universe, Jim Sturgess seems to be increasing his credentials to his resume as desperate for money MIT student Ben Campbell, who, like every academic, is trying to enroll in Harvard Medical School, and he's willing to rake in the dough with a limit of $300,000, which is how much it is to get that prized scholarship. Now, like as I mentioned before, even though this movie was based off of the character, based off of the real life story of Jeff Ma, we're wondering, Ben Campbell, shouldn't the Jeff Ma character be an actor playing the role of Jeff Ma? And should the character be Asian? I mean, you ask yourself, why did they replace an Asian character and turn him into a Caucasian? I know this might seem a little bit like racial profiling, but if you really want it to be like real accurately portrayed, they should have had an Asian character playing the part of Jeff Ma. But instead, they whitewashed the Jeff Ma character and replaced him with a white British actor. Now, I know I don't like to go with race politics or identity politics here, even though it looks like I'm doing a pretty good job at doing it myself. However, you know, the Asian community was ticked off by it. And weren't these MIT students, weren't they all Asians? Weren't they all Asians? Of these 6 MIT students, there was only 2 Asians and 4 Caucasians. And I will get to a little bit more about that in a bit. So then we have this formulaic theme as Ben becomes so good at the game that all his earnings get taken away from him, and the lesson that greed will get you nowhere. The other students under Mickey's guidance include Jill Taylor, played by Kate Bosworth, who co-starred with Kevin Spacey in a couple of movies, including Superman Returns. Kate Bosworth, of course, played Superman's love interest and fellow reporter Lois Lane. And, of course, Kevin Spacey played the villainous character Lex Luthor. They also co-starred in another movie called Beyond the Sea. So this is the 3rd collaboration between Kevin Spacey and Kate Bosworth. We also had fellow MIT student named Choi, played by Aaron Yu. Kiana, played by Liza Lapira. And Fisher, played by Jacob Pitts. Their mathematical methods are awned by a systematical montage. They go through the tests and regiments and the strategy and how they're going to pull themselves through the tables. So while this is proceeding, they have room for some romance and their obsession for quick cash. Intensity is in high gear, and the not so glorious lifestyle of being wealthy. As sad as it seems, the supporting cast seem to add very little significance to the story. Bosworth is pretty much just on for the cliche love interest, and while the 2 token Asian performers are pretty much just stereotypical caricatures, like the Asian trying to be hip and the other one being a kleptomaniac. So they really just add little to no substance in their character portrayals. And though Spacey is convincing in yet another chilling performance, and Sturgess handled the naive, pretty boy role fittingly, however, 21 has too much spoon-feeding that it puts every piece of development right in front of us, and all the essential plot twists are just a motion away, and how the mathematical ruse is fully explained. We like a little suspense. We like to see like how these card counting ways would unfold through later stages in the movie, not like right away. Like they want to get it out of their way in explaining things, which takes the fun out of it. If you think this will be an educational trick to learn from, don't be fooled. There's a myriad of mathematical know-it-all, and the methodical practices are more complex than what is given to you. Maybe you'll be luckier on the slot machines. But what was great about 21 was that it demonstrated of just how crooked the Vegas tables really operate, and how getting good grades are not the only requirements to getting a good education, and that money and finance are the keys to your goal. So while you may probably think that the Vegas tables, with its tight security and surveillance, is guaranteed and automatically ensures you that there will be no cheating, all there is, a lot of Vegas tables are corrupt, and the staff and crew who work there could be just as corrupt. You may think they're only making minimal wages. You're out of your fucking heads. These guys are making a lot of money, even doing small little menial jobs. They're probably taking home a nice, handsome salary. And as for, getting a scholarship from Harvard, well, it takes more than just getting perfect A's and acing exams. You also have to have some money in your pocket. And I mean somewhere along the lines of 5 to 6 zeros. It's not cheap. And grades alone will not get you to your promised land. You could probably walk away with a Harvard education, and there's no guarantee that they'll hire you right on the spot. You may probably have a master's degree in quantum physics, and instead you're just wasting your way working as a barista at Starbucks. Nothing personal against the baristas at Starbucks, but still, if you have a master's degree in quantum physics and you're working at Starbucks, you're just unintentionally lowering yourself to your fullest. And yes, money does, to earn a scholarship, you also have to pay the fines. And yes, tuition is expensive, and salaries seem to increase every year. It's believable that students who aren't privileged will go through great lengths just to reach their goals educationally and financially. So this movie does try to succeed in adding some realism to this story. I mean, it is a non-fictional account. But at least it does, but even movies that are actually based on true stories, well, there is some dramatic licensing, and there is in this too. But at least they add a touch of realism about how students will go through many great lengths necessary just to stay on board and just to pay their salaries, their tuition, their expensive. This is maybe even their residencies. And believe me, if you are penniless, if you are broke, or if you're underemployed, or you're under the salary gap, you're fucked. They don't give a shit if you're a genius or a prodigy. They just want your money. If you're poor, maybe you shouldn't go to Ivy League, but go to more lower vocational stuff. Or take a trade. I think trade school is less expensive. But you never know. It might be rewarding in the end. Even though you're not getting that big, glorious front office. Still, a job's a job. Take it as it comes. be happy with the skin you own. So I gotta hand it out. This movie does have a lot of realism. In the end, 21 succeeds in being an interesting heist film, and it definitely has that amount of seriousness as it can be. And sure, it's colorful like the average Hollywood film normally is, and it gives that glitz and glimmer of the Vegas skyline. The cheaters never prosper a moral message, and it's pasted on, and it's not even pasted on the whole time through. And that only the smart survive once the dust clears, and that earning money is much more faster, and that earning money is the much better option than winning money. Yes, they're telling you the lesson that it's better to earn your money than to win your money. And that cheaters never prosper. That's kind of like what I was trying to say. So, if you guys ever have money, my strong advice to you is spend it wisely and don't be foolish. So if I was to give a scale out of 10, I would probably give the movie 21 a 6.5. I do recommend it, but you will be dumbed down and they will spoon feed you with the details. It might probably be a little insulting, but I wouldn't take it personally. So I guess this ends my ride review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember the 3 simple rules. Be kind, be courteous, and please refrain from any rude comments. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Sarah Card Rider saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.